Hey, this is Jeanette,
And this is Sean.
and this is Take a Fool's Advice. And our purpose is just to kick it with you, talk about different life experiences in hopes that we can help you from some of the, not only the mistakes we made, but some of the things that we did to accomplish the things that we set out to do. I'm owner of Angie B Jewelry. You can find me on the web on Google. Just Google Angie B Jewelry. And also, while I'm here, I want to give a plug to Clearview.
Yes.
They did my logo for me. It's Clearview Enterprise. So they created this logo for me for our trucking business. We also own P&A Transport and Trucking LLC. So they created our logo, did our shirts for us. You can actually find them on Facebook, Clearview Enterprise LLC, or you can go to their website, clearviewkings.com. They do all type of printing, logos, even for your business, windows, and promotional things. So check them out. All right, Sean.
Yeah. Shouts out to nephew, a real inspiration, even for me at my age. I ain't never seen nobody that grown at that age about his business. He really is. And hopefully we're gonna do some business with him because I got some plans, you already know, and Jeanette. But as I promised, I want to put something out there for a lot of you young men. A lot of you want to know what gangster really is or what gangster gets you. You know, it reminded me of my man used to say, "What is love?" Who was that?
Hollywood. Kenny.
No.
Yeah,
yep. Superstar. Kenny. Don't mess his name.
Oh, Superstar. Yeah. Okay.
My brother Kenny. Going back, miss him to death. Rest in heaven, my brother. But you want to know what the gangster stuff is. Now, remember, you can say, who am I to say what gangster is? But it's only thing I ain't done is died. So, I mean, you can take some advice, as we call it, from a fool, or you can push on with it.
Hollywood today. You Hollywood today with your glasses.
No, the glass. Hey, listen, I ain't showboating with the glasses, y'all. I'm sitting in a position where the sunlight is hitting me in my eyes, and I don't want to be tearing up and all that type of stuff. So that's why the glasses on. See.
Okay, before you get started, let me give an intro because you know our time is limited. So we're going to talk about today Sean's experience. This is part of his experience with going to prison, and just we're going to start from the very beginning, how things were, because it's important to know that how the people that you break bread with, the people that you love, you can love when you live in a certain type of life, you can love an individual and things still go wrong. Things still go unexpectedly. So the real purpose of this is to give you our example, and so you won't go that way. So you will put in some stops, or you will think about this, and you will know this is not something that I want to do. Just the yesterday, I was talking to a girlfriend of mine, and she was telling me that her son-in-law, he's in prison. Well, he's in jail. He hasn't even went to trial yet, but he ended up killing his roommate, and he was not even that type of person. And not only that same night, he shot his brother, and he was not even that type of person. And he didn't realize what he had did until they told him when he was in jail. So we got to stay prayed up, and we got to listen, and we got to look, and we got to see what we don't want to do, and be cautious of the tricks of the enemy. But to go on to say that Sean and Corey were good friends. We lived together. We ate together. We played.
Well, tell him what it was to you.
He was the father of my kids. He was my boyfriend, someone that I was gonna marry. So we were family. Corey's family was our family. We sat at Corey's mother's table and ate. Me, Sean, everybody, my other siblings has too. Corey brother welcomed us in, and just to say that they hustled together, they was in the streets together, you know. And relationship, me and Corey relationship, sometimes we would fight, sometimes we would get into it. We were young, we were 18, 19, 20 years old. So just give you a background, this was not somebody just on the street, an enemy, or somebody that we didn't know. Things happen. It's not good that it happens. We're not saying that, but we're just giving you our experience. So we just want to start from that part and then just go into the whole detail of it'll go on for probably some weeks because it's a lot, but just to start from that day.
Wow. That the day that the situation happened. Wow. The day was crazy. It really was. You know, in the Holy Quran, it says, Allah does not destroy a people without sending them a warner first. I was going to work that day. It was a bad snowstorm. Never forget it. And I happened to get stuck down the street by one of our mutual friends' house. I go in there, and at this time we didn't have cell phones. In fact, I don't think we had none but them big old suitcase phones, whatever. And went over there and asked her, could I use the phone? She said, yeah, baby. She said, it's really bad out there. I said, yeah. She said, I thought I was gonna call in for work because I couldn't get there. My car was stuck. She said, yeah, you need to, baby. It's too bad. I called. She said, you got a minute? Can you sit down and talk to me? I said, yes, ma'am. She said, I really like you. I said, thank you. She said, because out of all his friends, you go to work and you're very respectful when you're in our house. She said, I know y'all be down there smoking and drinking, but not once is anything tore up. Y'all not down there too loud. Everybody was in order, and I appreciate that. She said, but I wish my son would get his butt up and go to work. He was spoiled, her son. But she said, I want to talk to you about something else. Now, I've never talked to this woman about you and Corey. I guess Ken did, her son. But I don't know why she said something about this on this specific day. She said, baby, don't get in the middle of your sister and Corey's business. She said, they get to fighting, just get the kids and leave. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, because you're going to get in trouble. You're going to be the one suffering, trust me. I got my daughters go through that stuff. And we talked about this for about an hour. She gave me a hug when I left. I leave, get some help, get my car unstuck, blase split. This time, as you know, you and Corey was on rocky terms, which led to me and you being on rocky terms. For the record, I was staying with Anjanette and Corey, but I was only staying there because my girlfriend I had at that time put me out because I was messing with another girl.
That's why we all was on rocky terms, because you and Corey.
You don't have to justify. Let me
okay.
I ain't slipping in my pimping, am I?
No, I'm just saying we was on rocky terms because what y'all was out there doing.
I'm finna listen to me.
Okay.
Because it's very imperative that I say this, because I just said in the Holy Quran says that God sends a warner before a destruction. And I'm paraphrasing. All right. But also, I forgot to talk about earlier that day, you had a conversation with me. You said, Sean, if you know anything about Corey cheating, you need to tell me. I'm your sister. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
I looked you in your face and I lied to you, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
I said, Anjanette, I don't know. Corey ain't been doing nothing. I don't know nothing. This me going against my own flesh and blood. But I did that. That's how close me and him was. So that happened that morning. You ain't never asked me that before. So I'm just brushing everything people telling me up under the rug. Cause I'm 23. I ain't thinking about what nobody talking about. I'm out here and whatever. I ain't mad at Corey. But later on that day, I came to get you from work or come down to your job because you worked at the cleaners down the street. And you told me, get out your house. I said, for what? Corey told me y'all been cheating. I said, man, how you lying? But in my mind, I'm saying that because I'm thinking you still picking a lock. I know about Lori and whoever the other girl name was. Oh, shit, I'm the cat's out the bag now. I was furious. I was living, is the word. No, I'm being honest. I'm being real. I was so mad at Corey. All I wanted to do was excuse my language, fuck him up. That's all I wanted to do. Because how do you betray me? But you know it as I know it. Me and Corey had many situations. We always was cool. So
just living. We wasn't living. We were living we was out there. All of them. Right. Yeah.
So some time went by, maybe 30, 40 minutes. I'm over to the house that I'm staying with Nikki, the girl, I shouldn't say no names, the female that I was with at the time. Me and her getting everything cool. I'm being right back. I ain't got nowhere to go. I gotta go back home now, so I gotta go make up at home. I get my house made up. I talked to his cousin who owned the house. It was so crazy. There I go again. Which is my girl's cousin, which was Corey's cousin. Did you know that? Okay. So she said, I asked her, could I stay with her? She said, yeah, because it was her house. Because we wasn't staying over her mother's house anymore. That's another story. But anyway, I'm going to a party store and I see Corey and this dude that we are our mutual friend. He get in the car with me telling him, let's drink some 40. I said, man, get the fuck out of my car. These are my exact words. Get the fuck out of my car, man. What? I said, man, why would you go tell my sister? Man, I ain't. I said, so he gets out of my car and throws the 40 ounce at my window. It's wintertime. By the grace of God, he didn't bust my window. Jumps and run back and get in Ken's car, he take off. I then come to your house, furious. We have a conversation. Somewhere in that conversation, you said, I'm gonna kill him when I see him. I don't know. That was what I was told. I talked to the kids, wanted to go with me, and I told them, no, you stay here. Uncle, good. I leave. This is all in the same day, too. I go by the party store, and I see them and Ken, and the girl I'm with now was with him, and her sister. Because we was all mutual friends, too. This years ago. See them, they pull up at the party store. I'm stuck again. Now I'm being cheap. I supposed to go bump me some tires, but I never did. I was supposed to have been doing it, but I was bull crap. That's how I kept getting stuck. I see Corey, me and Corey have an argument up at the store. He still got his 40. He act like he gonna hit me with his 40. I grabbed the knife out of my car. He goes by the party store. We go up there and they break it up. Corey gets back in the car. I gets back in my car, trying to move. I get stuck again. Corey gets out of that car, comes to my passenger side and kicks my window out of my car. Gets back in the car, they laugh and take off. At this point, I'm numb. I'm numb mentally. All kind of stuff going through my mind. I'm heated. And in this process, me and him had some situations that I'm gonna tell you. We had some physical altercation where he done some things to me to make me think the way I thought, y'all. I know right now it looks like an anger situation, but that man struck me with several objects before in process of fighting. So I know how he thinks. He will try to hurt you. So my mind's all these things is in my mind. I snap. He comes over to where I'm at, talking about I did something to the kids. But I will admit, he didn't come in with nothing in his hands to try to do nothing to me. He had food in his hands. Mind you, I'm heated like a water heater. But I'm calm, cool. I'm not trying to do nothing. All I said, man, you're gonna pay for my window. He said, F you and your window. And when he did that, he turned like he was reaching in his coat. That's when it all happened. And I didn't give him a chance to move. I didn't give him a chance to do nothing. And before I realized, I took his life.
Okay, now, just to say this, to see how, first of all, we were not living right. All of us was scandalous. All of us was doing stuff that we had no business doing. And so when you out there, you living like that, you young, you live in any kind of way. And so you're open to whatever the enemy has for you. We didn't know that's what he had for us. But he was planting that seed all along. And just to say this, God gives me dreams. Before that happened, I had that exact dream. God was warning me then. So what I should have been doing, as soon as he gave me that dream, I should have been up praying. But because I was living a different type of life, prayer wasn't necessarily something that I just did constantly. So the dream was, I was crying and I was walking into a church, and I actually was walking into the church with you, Sean, and we was going, it was a casket at the front of the church. And when we got to the casket, I looked in the casket and it was Corey. It was Corey in the casket.
No, it was me. No, you told me that dream. It was me.
It was you in the casket. It was you in the casket. And then when I looked up again, it was you walking with me in shackles, and it was Corey in the casket. And I guess I was crying like a baby. I was crying hard. Corey was waking me up. This is true. He was waking me up. He was still with us. So he was waking me up and he was like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And my face was soaked. And I was like, I just dreamed that you was in the casket and Sean was in shackles. This before any of this happened. So I go back to sleep instead of going to God praying when God has shown me that I should have been praying hard. Me and Corey should have been praying. You know what I'm saying?
But you gotta, but listen, do you know, and I'm gonna say this, and this is a fast forward thought, definitely, but do you know how much and how many years and how much time I went over in my mind, the corners of my mind, every crevice of my mind, in the sense of trying to make sense of that of being young and you can't.
You can't.
And so here's the blessing for me to experience a situation and get over. Like I said, his family has been marvelous. You know what I'm saying? And they may have not known what really went on, but here is what's on what I just told you. But you know, and that's, you can go check the paperwork. It's probably verbatim. But long story short, I had to understand that in order to do what I need to do and hopefully get to doing it, that was a path I had to go through. I had to go through because that's the choice I made. And this is why I'm talking about being gangster. You know, some of us, and I ain't saying because of that is gangster, but what I'm trying to show you in the sense of being gangster, many people look at being gangster as doing dumb stuff or, you know, he this, he that. But a gangster is always a gentleman, because a true gangster don't want problems and he don't make problems. He gets business done. You know what I'm saying? So if you out here toting a pistol, you out here hothead, and you run into an individual and you can't outthink the situation, you'll be just like me. It's many of stupider me's out here in this world today. You know, but not to get off track, to get back what you were saying, that was a crazy dream. And I've had several dreams since I've had one. Me and Corey talked. And he said, man, let me go back and see my kids. Trade me for a minute and I'll go back and see my kids. I said, this is what I said. This was a selfish dream. I said, yeah, but you gonna come. I gotta go back though. He said, yeah, I'll let you go back. I don't know why I said that. So I traded places and Corey didn't come back. He wouldn't come back. And that was my dream.
Before that had happened, all that had happened, me and Corey had the conversation. If we die, we hope God give us time, like the thief on the cross. We hope we just have time to ask for his forgiveness. Me and him had just had that conversation. So when that happened, I was like, I believe he had time. You know what I'm saying? And I just do, because since that was on our mind, we already knew, even though we was living foul, we already knew that death was a possibility. Going to prison was a possibility in that life.
But I experienced death firsthand, as well as yourself. But I'm talking about, I'm looking at it. I'm watching the whole process. And like I said, I'm not blaming nobody for who I am, but that was who I was at that time. There's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I could have done about it.
But what would you tell young people now? Just the little part that we didn't discuss, to tell young people that might be in that life, meaning that life of selling drugs, that life of stealing, that life of drinking, partying. What would you tell them? Because I would tell them, weigh your options and what is it worth? What are you willing to give up to change, to go over to another life? Is this what you want? Or do you want better? Because if you want better, you can't stay in this situation. You got to do something better.
Well, I agree, but I'm in the mix somewhat with these young guys. I'm talking about in the mix. And like I said, I deal with a few of them and I've been around them. The main thing about them is that a lot of them, the ones I bump into are usually ones that's getting a little money, so to speak. And they're a little different than most of the cats running around just trying to rob and kill people. They're very smart and they move a certain way. The only thing about them that I don't like is once we have a conversation of the consequence, they kind of foggy on the reality of things because they're so quick to answer. You did. You might say, look, man, would you ever rap? Hell no. You know you're going to say that. But what if you had facing life and you was going to get that life and you knew who did the situation? They're going to say yes to that too. I ain't going to rap. No, I ain't going to rap. Or they don't think that somebody can just walk up to them that's close to them and blow their brains out and take everything they got, or just for the fun of it. And that's the biggest problem I have with young guys, is that they don't understand the consequence. And that's
They
what
don't think it could be them.
Exactly. And that's what gangster is not. And that's what they think gangster. See, because I'm gonna tell you something, and I ain't gonna hate to say it. I have no choice. I don't care what I get into or what I believe. I don't tell on people. That's never coming out my mouth. And I do my time. Don't like doing time for those who think, well, you do. I don't like doing that. But I can't put another person in jail whether I know what they did or I don't. And if I happen to go to prison for something I didn't do, God wanted me there. That's how I feel. Because God, you know the truth. I didn't do it. You can't make me do something to somebody else that I don't believe in doing. You know? And I'm gonna be real with you. If I seen a pedophile and I knew he was a pedophile and I saw what he did, I ain't gonna say the rap. I'm not going to no police though. I can't do that. That's just me. So I also know if I mess with you young guys who don't understand what's going on or what you think is this, and I know better, I can't mess with you. I can do like a sun in the rain. Can you see me?
Yeah. Well, I'm telling.
I can do like a sun in the
I'm telling. I don't have a code not to tell. I'm telling.
It's not a code. Whoa. Let me explain something, sweetie. It's not a code. People keep talking about a code. It's not a code. It's how you cut. It's how you, it's you. You got to understand that betraying people for let me say this. If you let me give you one thing so I want people to understand. People who don't commit crime, not selling dope, and they ain't doing nothing wrong, those are not snitches. They can tell all day long because they chose a path. Now, if you were to get on that path knowing what you done and get to snitching, you would be a snitch. Love you to death, but you'd be a rat. Because you know the street code. As I said again, street code, but you know what comes with the streets, but you're not in that anymore. And so those things shouldn't, for two reasons, come to you, because you're an older woman and you're in your own lane. So you probably would never have to worry about being set up or any kind of confusion where somebody needs to tell on you. I mean, well, you need to tell on them. You feel me what I'm saying?
Right. We on two different lives or environments. You know what I'm saying? Right now. But I just said that because of the pedophile. If it was a pedophile, I knew it was a pedophile, I'm telling on the pedophile. That's what I was talking about, really.
I mean, and like I said, I wouldn't feel bad about that, knowing that you're a woman, but I'm not telling on. But he ain't gonna hit me. You do the math.
I believe you would, because you love kids.
I'm not telling on him, do the math. You do the math.
I see what you're saying.
He ain't gonna mess with no more kids.
Right.
Put it like, you know what I'm saying? And I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. So it's what I believe in. Like I said, I might be wrong for that. I'm gonna say I am wrong for that, because, we got a system that's set up to do this, that I don't have to be involved. You know what I mean? I'm just being real. But that system to me is not for me. I mean, it's not for nobody, but it's not a bettering place. You know what I mean? If they really was the Department of Corrections or you know, to give you something to better yourself, to come back in this world and at least have a trade. See, when I went through that, they did, and they took everything. Then they started giving it back and talking about you can't get it because you get ready to go home. So what you know what I'm saying? It always was stupid, you know. So, but that's not an excuse. And like I said, people who in these streets and get to telling, they rats, and they whatever come to them, they deserve. If they get hit by a bus, I wouldn't cry.
Would you say that night was one of the nights of your life that probably because with mama you didn't have no say so into that. I know that was probably the worst night, but besides mama, that night with Corey was the worst night of your life. I can't hear you. I'll tell you when I can hear you, but the most defining night of your life that kind of determined where you're at today. You know, meaning spending 20 years in prison and going in your early 20s. You know, they say when you take a life or a murder, it's like two people losing a life because not only did Corey lose a life, but you lost all of your 20s, all of your 30s in prison. Not saying that you know, you learned things, you know, it was a life lesson. It was a long life lesson, you know. You didn't get to see your son grow up. I can't hear you still. You didn't get to see your son grow up, and you just lost a lot of years too. So I would say that's what I can't hear nothing. No, keep trying. I would say that this episode mainly was just an introduction to how it all started. And it wasn't that we didn't love each other. All of us, we loved each other. We was family. It's not like we didn't, there was hate or animosity. It was something that happened, and it could have easily been me that would have killed Corey or Sean or somebody else. You know, I got into it one time with Sean's girlfriend, and I could have easily really hurt her. They stopped me. So I can't hear you. So in that life, it could have been Corey. Corey, he could have killed Sean, or Corey could have killed me. You know, our life was chaos, and that's what we got out of it. You know, so this episode is just telling the younger generation, not just kids, the young men, think. You know, people, these youngsters are killing each other every single day, just like this little 18-year-old, I think it was 18-year-old, went into school in Texas and killed 18 babies. You know, think, you know, we're missing something. God, that's what you know, other people might say different, but what we're missing is God, you know, and we're getting desensitized. You know, today is worse than it was when we were younger. So Sean lost connection, and next week we'll come back and we'll talk a little more. Maybe next week we'll talk about what happened after he did it? What was in his mind? What was his mind thought? Where did he go after it happened? I don't know, because I know I called his mom because the Ken came up and told me Corey was in the hospital, and we met she picked me up, we went to the hospital. But I want to know, what was his mindset? I couldn't imagine. So this is another edition of Take a Fool's Advice. We got that from our grandmother. She used to always say that to us because we were hard-headed. And, sometimes it helps to hear somebody else's life and where it started, how it started, where they came from, and the path we're on now. We all can